What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, folks? Welcome back, man, to the latest edition of the Sim Standard Podcast, guys. I'm happy to be back here. Right now, I am flying solo. At the present moment, it is just myself. But that doesn't stop anything, man. We're going to keep this thing going. And I'd like to welcome everybody here, man. So if you, give me a moment here. I'm going to ramble on myself here. We'll try to get Smitty on. And I'd like to welcome all of you guys that are unfamiliar with what we do here. Because I realize, guys, that I have to do this introduction on a weekly basis. You know, you can't take anything for granted. You can't assume that people know who you are, etc., etc. So I have to always take time, to welcome those of you who've never been here before, those of you who may be here, from other means. And what I mean by that, when I say other means, a lot of people, I'm finding out, there's a good amount of people that support myself, for Steelers news or for just normal gaming or streaming or what have you. And some of you guys have never been involved or, came along to watch a Sim Standard podcast. So I have to acknowledge that. That's number one. So for you guys who are familiar with what we do here, and if you're familiar with myself and Smitty and AzureEffect, we definitely want to say what's up to you guys. Always appreciate you guys coming out, holding us down each and every week. As you're seeing here, guys, we're going more so into a podcast format where you're not really going to be visible. We may return back to screen again. We have everything available as far as, cameras and things of that nature to allow us to get back to that. But, it just gives us a little more freedom, guys, if we're just, heard and not seen, if you will. A lot of times we have things, that we have to do while we're doing the show, whether it's family things or what have you. And, like I said, it just gives us more flexibility and more freedom on our end. To allow you to just hear us rather than see us. Not to say we won't ever do that again, but that's just how it's going to go right now. So again, let me introduce myself. I am SimFBallCritic. Most of you know that. My partners in crime are Smitty and AzureEffect. AzureEffect is not always able to attend due to his schedule, but he's always a part of the show, and he's always here with us in spirit. All right, so like I said, guys, right now, man, I'm just flying solo. Give me a moment here. Let me check and see if Smitty is available. I believe he is. So we're going to go ahead and call Smitty right now. You guys are going to hear me call him. So you're going to hear that Skype chime in the background. There it is, guys. So we got Smitty on the show now. So, again, we appreciate you guys hanging in there until Smitty came on. So, all right, Smitty, we rolling, man. We're going in hot. You're live on air, brother.
What's going on, y'all?
Yeah, Smitty says, what's up to you guys? Everybody just confirm that you're able to hear him. I will answer a quick question I got here, Smitty. Willie Law says, when is the Madden roster update? It is out right now.
It's out now. Yep.
So go check it out. I downloaded it myself right now, and I'm just about to skim through it and see, what exactly is going on with the roster. But anyway, Smitty, I was letting everybody know, man, that, I had to do a quick introduction because I realized not everybody know, they're not familiar with us. Not everybody knows what we're doing here. So I can't take anything for granted, assuming people know exactly what's going on. So, again, welcome to you guys who are unfamiliar. This is a podcast that myself and Smitty conduct along with AzureEffect when he's able to make it, where we basically just talk about the latest and greatest gaming info as well as real-world events from time to time. We are hardcore gamers as well as hardcore football fans, so that's pretty much, where this show is derived from. So as far as the topics, guys, and y'all know how we do when it's football season. As far as the topics, we'll let you guys know exactly what's going on in the topics. And then, Smitty and myself will give us, give a quick few accounts on the football season and what we expecting our team to do this coming Sunday. Of course, I may give a little quick chime in on Le'Veon Bell. And then from there, we'll go into the topics. So the main topics tonight, guys, is we want to definitely, give our quick reflections. We're not going to spend a lot of time here on this, and I'm definitely going to explain to you guys why you're just hearing from me in regards to this. But we definitely want to, briefly talk about the tragic events, at the Madden tournament down in Jacksonville. We definitely want to discuss that briefly. After that, man, we want to talk about NBA 2K19, the Prelude impressions, how we're feeling about that game and what type of expectations we might have going in. The NBA Live 19 impressions. I say impressions because a lot of people may have been able to play it already, via EA Access. I actually was fortunate enough to get a copy of the game, so I played it a little bit. I'm going to put an asterisk around impressions because I don't know how much we can dive into it, but, we'll give a few accounts based off of the demo and such. And also, guys, we got to be a little controversial tonight. We definitely got to talk about Nike and Colin Kaepernick. So I want to give you guys a heads up. Buckle your seatbelts. I have a lot to say. I'm going to keep it very respectful, but I would definitely respectfully like to say this. For anybody who's going to take offense by it, it is what it is. You know how I am. I can say the same thing about Smitty, and I can say the same thing about Azure. We don't bite our tongues. We understand that this is not necessarily the political platform, but listen, that's real life. We're not afraid to say what we have to say, but like I said, we're not going to try to turn this into a political thing or anything like that, but we're human beings. Why not discuss something that's really happening in the world? And, I think we'll get to see how everybody is feeling about that. I do expect, Smitty, that we'll get some dislikes when we get to that part, but it is what it is. But all right, man, without further ado, welcome, guys. Smitty, you go ahead and kick it off, man. Tell everybody how your week was. I know you just got back. Both of us pretty much was on a little mini vacation. And what type of plans you got, or what do you think the plans are for your Detroit Lions going into this weekend?
Well, we don't play till Monday, so we got the Monday night game against the Jets. So we got to see what I can't necessarily say I'm happy to see that they cut Anthony Zettel, seeing that he got 6.5 sacks for us last season and they cut him. And I forgot, I can't recall the gentleman's name offhand that we got in replacement, but, we didn't have a good preseason, but at the same time, I'd rather, I'm not saying these guys are going to turn it up all of a sudden on Monday, but I'd rather them be fully healthy and really go after it now, instead of going all out extra hard and then guys end up getting hurt because they took it to the max out the gate. You know what I'm saying? Like against some starters, but also guys that more than likely won't even be on the team. You know what I mean? That early. So, that was one of our biggest issues was health. And guys being able to perform. And then when guys came back, they were a shell of what they were supposed to be. So I'd rather us, be healthy and just go after it. We'll see how things shape out when it comes to week 1. But, that's pretty much how I feel about it. But outside of that, we have vacation. I don't know. Must have been something in the water in terms of the travel plans because me and Sim was on virtually the same itinerary. Just in the same state, 2 different cities. But, no, I had a great time. My wife and I planned and we went out to a little timeshare joint we was gone for, a good number of days and went to a Disney spot, went to Disney World, went to Magic Kingdom, took our daughter there and everything, it was fun. Heck, it was even cool getting rained on and everything, you know what I mean? Like, cause it was real hot and humid. So when we got rained on, it was cool, that felt great. You know what I'm saying? But, no, I had a great time. And, I'm just excited. Like, while I had myself a good time, I also was like, man, I can't wait for these games. We have 2K. We got live. We got Spider-Man about to drop. You know, if you put the $5 down for that Call of Duty beta, if you didn't see the trailer today for that Blackout, yo, I mean, that's gonna be on the 10th when that. I mean, it's a beta, but still, it's like it's a lot of good stuff that's dropping out here, and it's gonna be crazy, man. That's why I can't wait till we talk about live in 2K. But yeah, I'm excited, man. This is exciting times right now.
Yeah, man, I can't wait till we dive into those areas because it's a couple things I want to talk about relative to both of those games, but we'll get there. And we might even start there. We might start there because we could probably start with the Jacksonville thing because that'll be brief. It's kind of just a paying our respect type of situation.
Yeah.
But as far as the week, man, yeah, like Smitty said, we both were hanging out in Florida. I was down in Tampa. My wife's father and his family, they moved there. They coming from the Bronx. He decided he'd had enough. He wanted to go somewhere where it's warm and it's not cold and the snow and blah blah blah. So went down there, hung out, man. I surprised my wife because her birthday was last Friday. At first, I couldn't go because I didn't have enough time off. Because she went on Wednesday, her and my son. So I surprised her without her knowing. I did have enough time to take off Friday and that following Tuesday, this past Tuesday. Surprised her and flew down, man. So that was, it was a great time doing all that. She had no idea. So that was a good time. But yeah, man, we just chilled out, hung out in the pool. We got a chance to see a gator. Because they have a pond in the backyard. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, we didn't see him come all the way out, but he poked his head out a few times. So it was very interesting. It's very regular in Florida, if you're around water, that could happen. But outside of that, man, football-wise, I'm going to be really, really quick with the Le'Veon Bell thing. I'll probably do an extra stream, for you Steelers fans, maybe Saturday. I wanted to try to get to it today, but I didn't have a chance. But it's like this. It's incredible to me, Smitty, how so many of the, I don't want to say so-called professionals because I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but a lot of these analysts and your Stephen A. Smiths of the world and, Michael Irvins, and it just a lot of these people that I'm watching, it's funny to me how, number one, I found out not a lot of these guys know the rules in terms of the franchise tag. I keep hearing everyone say, trade him, trade him, trade him. Well, let me let you guys in on a little secret. Until he signs the tag tender, there's nothing that can be done. He's essentially playing right now without a contract. There's no trade that can be developed until he signs the franchise tag. Also, if you were to trade him, what team would be willing to rent Le'Veon Bell for a year, not knowing if they're going to be able to re-sign him next year? Because another thing that I keep hearing, Smitty, Pittsburgh Steelers, why don't they just pay him? Why don't they just, strike up a deal? They can't do that, people. Analysts, you guys are supposed to be professionals in your job. Know the rules. That's all I'm saying. None of us are perfect. I'm just saying, if you're going to be on TV laughing and blasting people, at least be correct in your info. They cannot restructure a deal once the tag is signed. That had to be done by July 16th. The only thing that can happen at this point is Le'Veon Bell can sit out, which he's threatening to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's eligible to sit out until week 10, if I'm not mistaken. I think he would have to report that Tuesday of that week. And that basically preserves him, and he has a better chance of being more healthy going into free agency. Could backfire if he does that. I don't know if he's going to do that, but the agent, his comments yesterday struck up that he a lot of hints making it sound like he would sit out. Now all of a sudden we're hearing that it's reported that he's going to report Saturday, which to me is kind of odd because you make all of this fuss. I really think right now him and his agent are flying by the seat of their pants. They're just just doing things, I don't know, like on the fly. But let me just say this really quick, folks, and we'll move on. I don't have a problem with what Le'Veon Bell is doing in terms of demanding money. I commend him. You look at guys like Aaron Donald, who's getting that big, fat, whopping check. Khalil Mack, whopping check. You know, you look at all of these guys getting this money. Let's correct one thing that I'm hearing. The narrative is that the Pittsburgh Steelers are not trying to pay Le'Veon Bell. Let me correct you guys. The Pittsburgh Steelers offered Le'Veon Bell $70 million. $14 million per year. The issue was guaranteed money. Whether you agree or disagree, Steeler fans and people who may have followed the Steelers, do we not know that that's how they do business? They have always done business in a way to where they don't give a ton of money guaranteed up front to non-quarterback positions. Right or wrong, you can argue that, but why are we acting so surprised, Steeler fans? That's how they do their business. Le'Veon Bell was offered essentially the Antonio Brown deal. He would have definitely still been on the team 4 years from now. So at the very worst, he doesn't get the last $14 million. Do the math. What's 14 minus 70? He would have been paid. Now, of course, guarantees, I get it. Hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm happy at the fact that he's like, nah, that ain't enough. I want more guarantee. I ain't mad at the man. But it just blows me, Smitty, when I just see people argue points that are incorrect. And I'm not saying that I'm correct at all. I'm just like, listen, if you follow it closely, you should easily be able to see what's happening here. So that's my little 2 cents on it, man. As far as what the teammates said about him, I understand people are trying to get on those guys about publicly talking. But let's not forget, Le'Veon Bell told these guys he would be there in week 1. And these guys probably feel a little betrayed a little bit. And that's the only reason why they're saying a few things now. They've never talked about it before. So obviously, you know, it's a little more personal to them. It's like, yo, you know, my man said he was going to be here. We stayed out of his business. And then, you know, you got reporters always in your face asking you all these questions, right? And then they want to get mad at you, Smitty, when you answer the question.
Yeah.
So that's my little 2 cents, man. Listen, I don't think the Steelers are wrong. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is wrong. It's business. It is what it is. I just don't like the way Bell is handling it. That's always been my beef with him is just keep quiet. You talk too much. Like, you're making it seem worse by talking and talking and talking. Just let the business play out and then make the team look like the villain. So, there you have it. All right, Smitty, while we're still talking about football, I guess we could talk about this tragic event, man. I hate to talk about it. I'll start off by saying this, Smitty. Let me say this, that I'm disgusted on a couple of different accounts. For the obvious reason, I'm just disgusted at what happened. Never imagined that would happen at a gaming event. I can't say I'm surprised about any type of mass shooting. We never thought that we would see schools being shot up, especially elementary schools. None of us imagined that the Virginia Tech situation would happen. Just, you know, it's not surprising, but it is a little heart-wrenching, you know, gut-wrenching that happened at an event such as a Madden tournament. But I'm also disgusted by some of the community reaction, man. I gotta say this, Smitty. Did y'all notice I didn't say much about this? Did you notice I didn't make a video about it? Did you notice that I strategically decided to wait until now, almost 2 weeks later, to even talk about it? Because I'd be darned if I was going to use that situation for my benefit. Listen, I'm a YouTuber. I know I could have easily gotten multiple views off of that situation. I'm not doing that. Because I am a real human being that understands feelings, respect, grief. And I know some people might hear this. It's some of y'all out there. You should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. Trying to capitalize on, and don't sit there and tell me that's not what you were doing. Let me tell you something. That's the only thing you could have been doing, because we didn't need you. We didn't need you to tell us there was a shooting in Jacksonville. It was all over the news. It made national news. We did not need YouTube to tell us that. Y'all are smart enough to know that, okay, let's jump into this algorithm really quick. That's very sad. I was very sad to see that, Smitty.
Yeah.
And that's it's crazy. It's real. And let me call out this one person. Y'all know I usually don't say names, but I feel like I have to in this case, because people like this you want to just avoid. There's this guy that used to come in here all the time while we were doing the show, trolling. Would follow my every move. Would troll Smitty. Would troll anybody talking about Madden. And you know what? I'm not going to say his name. I'm not, because that gives him more shine. But I think most of us might have seen it, and we know who I'm talking about. Smitty's definitely going to know. The day of the shooting, this guy tweets out how the Madden, and I'm paraphrasing, but the Madden devs, or the Madden, people in general, this should tell you something. If somebody gets so mad to where they're ready to shoot people over your game, it's time to allow somebody else to make a game. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen, Smitty, and during that situation.
Yeah.
People had just died. Others injured. And you're talking about why this company needs to... I'm so glad I blocked this guy a long time ago. Like that, oh man, I feel like cursing, but y'all know I try not to do that here. That is what you call a piece of caca. I'm gonna say it in Spanish. Literally, bruh. That to me, that just shows me the type of character that this guy has. I don't need people like that in my circle. So going forward, y'all better believe, man, if y'all not talking about just being positive and having constructive conversation and constructive debate, you ain't getting nothing from me. I promise y'all that. You're not getting nothing from me. Nah, I'm not talking about him. That's not the guy. That's not, unless he did it too. I don't know. But yeah, that going forward, guys, I just can't be about the nonsense, man. It just proved to us that it didn't need this tragedy to happen for us to realize this, but it goes back to what Smitty and always say. We always say this stuff is more to life than these games, man. It's real problems going on out here. So you're not going to catch me arguing with nobody over no stupid video game. People losing their lives out here. And you think I'm really concerned about how you feel about me, about how I feel about a game? Come on, man.
Right.
But I felt like I needed to say that really quick, man. But really touched me, man, because, like a lot of you guys was watching the stream and it happened. Thank God, Smitty, that they cut away from True Boy when they did.
Oh, man.
I mean, literally milliseconds.
Yeah.
It could have been captured on camera. And I'm going to call TMZ out. Take that video down, man. I know that's what y'all do, but come on, man. Listen, here's the problem that I have with social media. People don't concern themselves with people's grief. You never know. The man's parents might not even have known what happened. Why are we so quick to show stuff like that in the light? I just don't understand it. But it is what it is. But I just want to say this before I pass it to Smitty. Rest in peace, man, the True Boy. Rest in peace to Spot Me, Please. Taylor and Eli. That's their real names. It's sad, man. Because as much as you hear about Spot Me and how much of a good guy he was, and just listening to him talk and how he just wanted to do it for his family, and like my heart dropped just thinking about if that was me in that position, where would that leave my wife and my son? You know, and True Boy being just 22 years old, man, all that kid wanted to do was play the game, man. Always smiling. You know, it's just, even in literally up until the moment where he met his demise, the man was smiling. It's just a sad thing, man. So I just want to wish a rest in peace to those guys. I don't think any of us will ever forget them. And, you know, a speedy recovery to everybody who got injured, you know, because there's other people who, like your guy O'Leary, you know, like, wow, he took 3 shots, you know, like, yikes, you know what I mean? Like, some of these people's lives will never be the same, man, even mentally, to experience a tragedy like that. So, you know, that's all, man. I just want to say, you know, we all hurt over what happened. We're all gamers. We're all in this Madden community. If you play Madden, you're a part of the Madden community. So we feel their pain, man. So, you know, shout outs to everybody, you know, that has shown support to those guys, and just, you know, a huge rest in peace to those who lost their lives. What you got, Smitty?
I mean, yo, like, you know, I was earlier on moderating the stream, you know, where they were going over everything, and, you know, and, okay, go to the potty, okay? But, sweetie, you're gonna have to wait, okay? Wait for mommy, all right? But when I had,
I need diaper.
you need, hold on, come here. You're okay, sweetie.
I need diaper.
No, you don't. You're fine. I'm sorry for the interruption, but nevertheless,
man, go ahead, man.
all I'm saying is that when it came to the situation, my wife saw me. What? I just changed her diaper. You're fine. You're okay. She, you know, I was very upset, and my wife had saw how upset and how distraught I was about the situation. And just hearing about all the details and hearing about it all, it just really messed me up, because, you know, like, it took me a minute to get on the sticks. Like, because it, you know, and just like what Sim had said, you know, there was no video that I could make. There was no, like, I didn't know really how to react. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I was pissed, but I didn't have a real reaction to be like, man, you know what? Like, I didn't feel like streaming the next day. I didn't feel like, I mean, and trust me, I had the time to do it. I had the opportunity to do it, but I just wasn't with it. I was really, really, really hurt. You know what I'm saying? And it just really jacked me up about these guys, because, like you said, never in a million years would I think that, you know, I'm gonna see, like, somebody's going to get shot at a gaming event. You know what I'm saying? A video gaming event at that. So it really messed me up when I seen what happened to True and to Spot. You know, and then looking back at the vid, because, you know, my wife didn't see it. See, I had saw the video and heard the audio. I didn't even want to hear it again. Then my wife, oh, what happened? What happened? Then, you know, she played it, and it's like, I heard the stuff. It just really wrecked me. You know what I'm saying? And, like, looking at the tribute they did to earlier today, it brought some tears in my eyes, because, you know, it's like, it's just the thought. It's like, that could have been it. That could have been anybody at that event.
We could have been.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If we would have been down in Orlando during that same time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's very possible we could have been at that event.
Yeah.
Right down in Jacksonville.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, to see any of that stuff going on, it's jacked up. It's really, really jacked up. And from that, you know, and I mean, seeing people, look, like you said, people want to get views and all that stuff or whatever. They take that as an opportunity to want to take pot shots, like people saying, oh, they should give Madden away for free. because of this, and oh, they should do this and they should do that. You don't need to worry about. Why are you worrying about what a company needs to do? What are you about to do? You about to do some streams? Are you about to get some money up? Are you about to get a GoFundMe going? Are you about to do what are you about to do? Instead of trying to tell this company what they need to do, that was so annoying to me to see. And then to see people do reaction videos like this ain't no movie trailer. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no music video. This is like people were shocked. It's one thing when we see Vines and try not to laugh challenges where you see people fall over and you see silly stuff happen and all that. That's one thing. But those people lived through it. They're okay. They're alive. It's not like somebody got shot and it's like, oh, okay. No, it's not cool at all. And to see people do that was so corny. And then what was even more jacked up was like when people had pointed out on that day, they shown the red dot appear on Truth.
That tore me up, man.
No, yeah, and it was like
see it the first time.
Yeah, I didn't know either until somebody posted a still and put it on there, and I'm like, no. And then I watched the clip again, and it's like you saw the dot appear right before it faded out. And then after that, you heard the noise. So it was just so jacked up, man. It's messed up. And then, like what Kia is saying, yeah, these people are traumatized. Like I see people post on Twitter that were there. You know, hey, I went to therapy today. You know, I'm gonna get through this one session at a time and all that stuff. That's why I commend W and those guys like, you know, Dreamy, especially W. He's up here streaming and all that stuff. And I mean, the bullet grazed his head. You know what I'm saying? And he's out here streaming like 2 days later or whatever. And it's just like, I mean, I understand why he's doing it. And I mean, you know, I feel that with everything that has happened, you know, he says someone sent a lawsuit against EA for the type of security. And see, that's the thing. That's not on EA. That's on the facility. But you know, that's a whole other hill of, you know, bag of beans. But
that's lawyers seeing an opportunity that they know they can win.
Yeah. So, but ultimately, at the end of the day, yes, definitely, I feel bad for them, but at the same time, you know, that furthermore is why, in general, you have to live on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You have to, when it comes to gaming or any of this stuff, yeah, you know, when we crack jokes and we do all that stuff, you know, we say, you know, man, it's just a game and all that stuff. But at the same time, though, you know, we're passionate about what we do, but when we shut the console down, like we always say, you know, like y'all heard my daughter in the background, that's the primary focus. It's not the games. And yeah, we have a passion and drive for it, but just like what those guys had a passion for it, they also had a passion for life. They had a passion, you know, definitely for a Spot. Yeah, wife and daughter. You know, he was using Madden as a means to an end along with his job, you know, but he was building a legacy off of that. And for him to get cut short like that, it really is jacked up. But from that, I take it as a positive in the sense of I'm going to press as a tribute going forward to those guys, just from a gaming standpoint in general. You know, giving feedback, streaming, interacting, all that good stuff. And just like what me and Sim both had talked about before, that's furthermore why we're not doing all that nonsense tap dancing around and everything. It's like straight bringing positive energy, positive vibe. Yep, we showcase frustrations and issues with Madden, but at the same time, it's going to be a positive vibe, positive tone, how we press things going forward. It's not about being sensitive or anything like that. It's just that you don't know where anyone's mind is at any given point or any given time. And you never know what can be the trigger to set somebody off. That's why there's nothing wrong. Listen, there is nothing wrong and there is nothing embarrassing about needing to get help. Too many people want to walk around with pride and act like they don't like getting help is a sign of weakness. No, it's strength to admit you have something wrong with you and you need help. There's nothing wrong in doing that. You know what I'm saying? I can highly commend that over anything. And it's like I said, it was so many things that just really bothered me, and that's why I'm like, me going on that trip, especially after that just happening fresh, it was refreshing to me because it gave me more sense, it gave me a clearer mind in terms of pressing forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the whole thing. Like what Kia said. I'll just end it here and throw it back to you, Sim. But like I said, I had my console with me. I would have it set up there, and I'm laying in bed and I'm just looking at the screen. I'm looking at the screen with the control next to me. Like, I cut the game on and I would purposely play the live demo because I couldn't fire up Madden. Because I automatically, just the whole thing, it's just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for a minute. It was really hard. You know what I'm saying? But then I eventually did, and that's the thing. I thought of it from a positive standpoint, be like, at the end of the day, we can't be, down and live with that weighted down feeling of, man, I don't know if I should ever play. I don't know if I should ever do X, Y, Z, because no, we got to live on purpose and press forward, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we have to do as a people, as a community. That's why it's all about building and cultivating and just helping each other to level up going forward. Yeah, we can compete against each other, have our little smack talks and have our disagreements even. But at the same time, it should always be about forward movement at the end of the day, whether we agree or disagree. Always about forward movement and positivity, because that's what, even in competitive nature, True and all those guys, yeah, they competed, talked smack, all that stuff. They did what they did, but it's not like they walked away and they had hate in their hearts towards each other. It was all love. It was all respect across the board, and they just worked to be the best players that they can be. We want to be the best that we can possibly be out here as well. Like outside of YouTube, as fathers and husbands, as, people, and, but also just as contributors within this community, as well as community representatives and leaders. So that's, I'm gonna end it at that. But, like I said, live in victory and on purpose to truly represent those brothers. So I'll end it there. I'll throw it back to you, Sam.
Yeah, man. One thing I was proud of it, because I actually did talk to him, a little bit after the event. Talked to Scant, just checking on him, man. I haven't had a chance to speak to RG. RG was in there. Scant said he had just walked out. Literally had just walked out. Tried to get back in there to help. Police wouldn't let him. So I can only imagine what he's thinking. He's got, people, associates, the guys being the players, and he's got co-workers in there. It's just a crazy time. But it was cool, man. Just what he said today on the stream was exactly right.
Yeah.
You judge, how people deal with the worst. Shows you basically the type of character and the type of strength that you are able to endure. During the bad times. How do you respond to those things? So, like Smitty said, we have to press on, remember and never forget. And yeah, man, you just have to try to be the best that you can be. So Smitty's gonna run here in a second, guys. This is a perfect segue. I believe he's gonna call back in.
Yeah.
Using his phone. Smitty's gonna run out and go to GameStop so he could get some 2K action. Quick question though, Smitty. Maybe you know.
Yeah.
Is the pre-order? Is it only released tonight if it's the $100 edition, or all of them available?
No, just the one, the $100 edition is available. Yeah, just that one.
Interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. The reason why I say that, it's so funny, Smitty, man, because I see so many people. People think that I don't pay attention. Some of the same people who are saying it's a shame how Madden, had this Hall of Fame edition, and that's the one that's available first, and you got to pay $79 or whatever. Same people have pre-ordered 2K, and they're getting it for $100 tonight. Now, I know the argument is going to be, well, it's a better game. Well, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, I don't understand why we as a gaming community don't come together more on all of these topics. It should be about the game. It should be about the game. It shouldn't be about the company or whatever. It should be about these games. We should be, equally judging these games. That's how it should be. And as far as 2K, I ain't mad at them having a $100 edition. You don't want to pay that? You wait. You wait until Tuesday, which is what I probably might do. I'm not thirsty to get 2K right away. And I'm not calling anybody thirsty that's doing it. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm definitely going to jump up on it. And who knows? I might end up, before the night's over, pre-ordering it and, getting the digital version. I don't know. I probably won't. And I'll tell you the main reason why is, you guys know I have to travel in, on Fridays. That's my one day that I go into the office, so I have to go to sleep early tonight. So it's not going to make sense for me to get the game at midnight, even if I was going to, because I can't enjoy it tonight anyway. The most I could do is play it tomorrow. But what I'm probably going to do, instead of paying the $100, because I'm not really concerned with all of the extra stuff that's coming with that, I'm going to do what I normally do with games I don't buy right away. I'm going to go to Redbox tomorrow. Sure, I'll be able to find it in somebody's Redbox if it's available. If it's not, oh well, I'll wait. I can play the Prelude, just play the little 2KU until Tuesday. I'll wait till Tuesday and get my copy. But anyway, to me, it's just funny to see how narratives get spent all the time and towards everyone's personal bias. And to me, I feel like there shouldn't be any bias. It should just be about these games. You know what I'm saying? It should just be about the games, man. And that's it. Now, Smitty stepped off for a moment, guys, so I'll go ahead and continue to talk a little bit here until Smitty is able to get back on and, just give my thoughts on, so far, what I'm seeing from NBA 2K and what I'm seeing from NBA Live. It became very clear to me very, very quick that NBA Live is a much improved game. The problem with NBA Live, in my opinion, I'm just gonna give my thoughts on a high level, high overview. I'm not really gonna go, deep dive into the games yet. It's not fair for me to do that. Haven't played them enough. But the problem with NBA Live is something that Virtual Football has said when he was on the show a couple weeks ago. And shout outs to VF, Silent Gamers, what he goes by as well on Twitter. NBA Live seems to be pushing a narrative where they think they can be the most successful, which is the one, the streets, the league, what have you. Let me get Smitty back on here. All right, there we go, guys. We got Smitty back on. So what I was saying, Smitty, is, trying to give a quick comparison, how I kind of feel about 2K and NBA Live right now. And I can't, we can't go deep into them yet. It wouldn't be fair to the games. But the point I was just making was where Live is going to suffer, at least from most of us guys who have given Live a chance and who have wanted Live to succeed, it's not necessarily the gameplay. They have greatly improved, in my opinion. Of course, there's always going to be feedback points, but I think the game has greatly improved. It's good to see them continue to improve on their core gameplay. But I was really, really floored by seeing that franchise just hasn't gotten any love.
Yeah.
What kind of hurts me about that is it follows the narrative that I have that I mentioned a week or so ago, where Tiburon, it seems like Tiburon just, whoever's governing things at Tiburon just doesn't allow, I won't even say allow, but they just don't seem to be focusing heavily on the backbone of most sports games, which is franchise mode. It seems like Live is going to just go down the road, like VF was saying when he was on a couple weeks ago. They're basically just going to go ahead and, live on the fact that, the one is a very fun mode. It's a very attractive mode, and I don't blame them for that because it is immersive. Way more immersive than what we're getting from, player mode in Madden or franchise in general, because the thing is, even though the franchise is not that deep, you can still have fun with the one. Your live runs and court battles, it's a lot to do in that space. It's just that franchise mode, I think, is the killer for a lot of people that are hardcore gamers. Franchise mode is the killer because, if you can't get you a decent franchise experience, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it kind of runs dry. It gets to a point where your experience and your replay value starts to wane when you can't dive into creating a fantasy, a dynamic team or a dynasty team, and I think that's where they're gonna suffer, man, because NBA 2K just offers so much depth. They are also continuing to improve where they're making these gameplay enhancements. Ball tangibility seems to be pretty good so far. I'm not seeing a ton of clipping, at least not in the Prelude. I haven't seen that. I'm seeing some good examples of positioning mattering and physics mattering, and I mean the gameplay in NBA 2K from the Prelude. Yeah, I'm on board. I am on board. Of course, we got to see how the final product turns out, but I'm on board. But there's one other thing I was going to say, but I'm going to hold it because it's a realization that I think I have now, Smitty, when looking at these games, man, all of these games. I'll save that for when you give your thoughts, but how are you feeling right now, man, as far as what NBA 2K seems to be bringing to the table and from what you've seen already from NBA Live?
I mean, see, this is the thing. NBA Live, what I think NBA Live has is they have a good game, but I think what they did is they're dealing with the same issue that Madden has going on, except it's in a different context. Now, this is where I'm going with it. The past 2 years of Madden, they made big-time implementations that left things buggy, wasn't as functional as, it should have been. Mm-hmm. But it still ultimately gives you a decent game. But they're big implementations. Now, think about this. Over the course of NBA Live, the paint area is extremely soft. Okay? Now, in Live 14 and 15, the paint was a lot tougher. Yeah. Ball tangibility was better. Blocking and all that stuff was a lot better. But this is what has happened with NBA Live. See, they made two big implementation systematic changes too. The player locomotion, the one-on-one on-ball defense, all the stuff we saw in Live 18, right? That was Live 18. Now, they introduced this RPM tech. And, you still see a decent amount of those same animations, especially those two-man sequences and stuff that we saw from Live 18. Now, think about it. NBA Live has got a lot of this scripting going on because I don't think that game is in a position where they can let the game be loose and free and have all the bugginess and have all the issues like what Madden has dealt with. I don't think that game can afford to do that. So they got a lot of they have a lot of scripting in their game is what I'm saying. Even with the RPM, which looks really good. But there still is a nice, healthy amount of scripting that they have going on in their game. And because of that, that's going to be part of one of the reasons why the game is going to be held back. It looks good, though. It looks good and feels good. So I'm not saying the game is bad. It's good. It's a good game. And I mean, I've said that before. But the problem here is that, like what you said, Sim, 2K has done a lot on not just gameplay, but adding necessary depth across the board. NBA Live ain't done that. They ain't done that in a mighty long time in terms of just the whole product in totality getting love. Because, and look, I had shout out to my man Swaggy P, NLVC guy and all that stuff. He's all about NBA Live and everything. And this was a point that I made to him. I understand that from a marketing standpoint, if EA invested in franchise mode, 2K would decimate them in terms of what they would do year over year. I get that. But at the same time, you have to go out there and you just got to take the hits anyway. You got to go out there because who was thinking about the street when EA decided to do the street? 2K was already killing that side of the market. They were killing it. They got the park, they got they got the Jordan Rec Center, and they got all that stuff already. You have 3 distinct modes that you could play. They just brought back crew in the dang on thing, for crying out loud. You got 4 ways to play that dang on mode. And then what did EA do? Hey, we're going to give you guys the streets. Okay. And it was successful, right? And it worked out for them. Okay, great. So why showcase that fear when it comes to the franchise mode side of the game? You got to just step up and take the hits, take the bruises, and just put the product out. Put the stuff in. Make innovations, even if it's small. Make the innovations. EA should have did it a long time ago. They should have had. I'm not saying that EA would be directly on par with 2K right now. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying though is that EA should have a heck of a lot more in their franchise mode right now than what they currently have. It shouldn't be this barren at this point. Mm-hmm. They should have way more meat on the bone than what they got right now. And just think about it. In 5 years' time, from calendar year 2013 to 2018, look what 2K did, and look what EA has done. It's minuscule in terms of what they've done with the franchise mode. That's why I personally said it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable and it's inexcusable as to why EA has not moved the needle with franchise. Even if you just microscopically built over 5 years' time, you should have way more than what you have for a franchise right now. And that's the problem. This game is called NBA Live, but there's no NBA. It's like the NBA is a feature. It's not the main course. Like if that's the case, like I said before, talking to people, they should just put on the cover, put Bone Collector and Professor on the cover, and just call it Live 19 featuring the NBA. And that's it. And, because it's a side piece feature. You got court battles. You got you got this icon status. You got, you got all this court stuff and everything in it. You have all this stuff. And you introduce court battles. Ain't nobody know nothing about no court battles. That's brand new. And basically, which is, for those that don't know or may not play, that's basically what Live Mobile is. They gave you Live Mobile on the console, which is cool. That's neat. So that is going to be fun. But you didn't give us that depth on the basketball side of this game. And that's why I'm saying on the NBA side, it's left barren. There's a lot left to be desired because of what EA decided to do this year with the game. And I'm most definitely, without question, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed because they could have done a heck of a lot more. And, they did, it's more like they did the bare minimum. Excuse me, I'm just walking up to the gate here. So.
Oh yeah, you good.
All right, there we go. All right. It's like they did the absolute bare minimum to get the game where it should be at, like in terms of giving us that necessary depth, giving us what 2K has already given us. You know what I'm saying? And from that, that's why people by default, many people across the board are like, well, I'm by default, I'm gonna have to play 2K or I'm gonna have to get 2K just because they're not giving us anything with live to be sufficient on the NBA side. So that's the unfortunate part. I mean, I'm getting both, but it still is very disappointing to see. So that's where I'm at with it. I mean, they could do some gameplay updates and do some little things here and there to make the game feel a little bit better, but they have to, I will say this. NBA Live opened up a second studio. They got a studio in Manila. And with that secondary studio, I'm expecting a heck of a lot to be done to come Live 20, especially on the franchise side of the game. You know what I'm saying? So they're really going to have to step it up tremendously when it comes to next year's title. Or 2K basically runs away with it, especially, look, we played the Prelude. We played even the My Career stuff. I mean, if you guys haven't seen the video from Chris Smooth talking about My Player, where he broke it down, I would strongly recommend you do that. See, just like with NHL, if you care about playing My Player, even from the grinding standpoint, they give you elements that make you care. Just like what NHL does with their franchise mode. There's elements in there that make you care, that you have to pay attention to. You can't just gloss over it and keep it trucking. Like, you have to be mindful. And that's what I'm saying. We don't have that. We don't have that at all when it comes to NBA Live. There's nothing in there that makes you care. And that's what those cats need to do if they really want to have a game that's going to be about something, flat out. But they got to have some depth. So we'll see what these guys do going forward. I don't know.
It's crazy, man, because you almost feel like maybe they're just gonna put their eggs in that basket of the one, because I don't know. It's like you said, man, and we're gonna call this early. It's September 6th, 2018, and I'm gonna call this right now. Like Smitty said, I need to see some real franchise enhancements, man, out of Tiburon. I'm dead serious. I've been teetering the line of this year in terms of how much time and effort I'm gonna put into Madden. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have a YouTube series built around franchise. I play in the Sim Standard Radio League, but it's getting to a point where there's so much to do, and there's so much depth, and there's so much of what I like about a franchise that I'm going to get from my league, getting currently from MLB The Show. It's to the point where I'm like, I almost want to put Madden down, man, in terms of playing it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, it's becoming more of a, I literally feel like I'm just doing it now for YouTube. That's a shame. I don't get the same enjoyment out of playing Madden franchise as I do from other games. Because if you like me, you came up in the era where all of us, most of us here in this call tonight or this show, we come from the era, man, when you play and you build your team and you try to win a Super Bowl or, you know, an NBA championship or whatever game it is you play. That's the fun part. We take it back to the days when, you know, you couch played. You know, it wasn't all of this online franchise and all of that. You know, you built your team, you played as your team and tried to make them the best you could. Guys like that, like us, we're cut from that cloth, so we're thirsty for that type of experience once again that we had in this game. We had this experience in Madden. That's the crazy part. And to me, the writing is on the wall, and I'm going to use this example. I feel like the writing is on a dry erase board. Follow what I'm saying. The writing is on a dry erase board because I feel like the writing that I'm saying is on the wall could be erased and the narrative could disappear. Meaning, there's still an opportunity for them to do some franchise stuff, some real stuff. I'm not taking away what they did in Madden 19. I'm not taking away from that. What the elements that are added in franchise, great. These are things that I want in my franchise. But if Madden does not I'm not even gonna say improve. If they don't introduce overhauled scouting, roster management, player management in terms of preserving their body and things like that. We're seeing this in every game now. If they don't do some of those basic things, scouting, re-signings, I mean, the depth of franchise, if I don't see that in 20, I have no faith that is ever going to happen. That's how I'm going to feel. That stuff has to happen. And Smitty knows this as well as I do. We have these arguments, guys. I'm going to say it. Arguments. Sometimes with other people who are closely linked to Madden. Other game changers. And when I mean arguments, I'm saying there's some people that they try to act as if, well, they can only do what they can. It's the same. It's almost like the corporate spiel. And we look at them with a side eye like, what's up, brother? Like, you sounding like you work there now. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like some of these guys, and it's just a few, you know, I'm not trying to say that, you know, we're fighting an internal fight like Rex did, but even within us guys who are giving direct feedback, there's some that feel like, well, you know, they can only do but so much. And yeah, I know, we've said that. But my thing is, even if it's to a point where you can only do a couple things each year, right? You can only do, like this year. They gave us basically 3, you know, relative additions to franchise. So what I'm saying right now is those 3 things, let's say you only can do 3 big things. Those 3 big things better be the stuff we've been asking for the longest time. The bare essentials. Roster management. Scouting. Those things have to be a part of the plans for Madden 20. I'm sorry. If it is not, I will not be playing franchise no more. Because I'm Smitty, I'm telling you, I'm almost to that point now. We'll see how the year goes, but I could easily just do my league and create, you know, the same type of enjoyment and entertainment, you know, YouTube wise as I do with Madden. I can easily do it. It's so much depth in there. I mean, good Lord. Because I plan to do it this year anyway. But if I was only focusing on my league, come on, man. There's so much content there. And yeah, I agree with Randolph. Game to game fatigue. I mean, come on, man. Progressive fatigue, wear and tear. This stuff is in every other game. So that's just my piece there, man. I know we kind of went off the cuff a little bit there with the NBA 2K and NBA Live comparison, but I really feel like that 2K is worlds ahead of Live in terms of depth. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying Live. You guys are going to see me play the one quite a bit. I'm enjoying the gameplay. Live has done a lot of things. I think the gameplay is very solid. You know, I can't really say if it's great or not because I haven't played it long enough. Even though I got a copy of the game, I haven't had enough time to play it. This weekend, I'm going to dive deep into it, and we'll see. But just 2K, man, just reading up on the stuff that they're doing, they continue to press the envelope, man. They continue to push and push and push, and they're out of here. You know, even that Momentous trailer. I mean, we all know you can't judge things by trailers, but I have to tell you, man, every time I look at their Momentous trailers, I'm ready to play the game. I cannot lie to you there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let me check on Smitty. I know Smitty's probably muting himself because, you know, he's in GameStop. Smitty, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, good. I just wanted
I'll
to
be
make
back
sure.
in just a sec.
No, that's good. I just wanted to make sure you was here for this point because I'm about to go into another point real quick.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Here's the thing, guys. And after we talk about this, you know, we'll definitely dive into, you know, the Nike stuff. Look at Atlanta. Atlanta out here, you know, giving it to the Eagles right quick. Moving right down the field. Running the ball, passing the ball, end arounds. I mean, they doing it all here in the first drive. Here's the thing about these games, guys. I had a realization a couple days ago while playing the Prelude. And I shared my thoughts with NY Kia and Smitty and Azure. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm not sure that these games can do some of the things that we're asking for. NBA 2K included. I have a video that I recorded where it clearly shows in the Prelude, Kevin Love was shifted into place, and he was basically slightly shifted into place to carry out an interaction with Steph Curry. And even when you look at his movement before he gets to Steph Curry, if you look, you know, a little earlier in the play, he's kind of ghosting across the court. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like that gliding that we see in Madden a lot, where it doesn't seem like they're really connected. And I said, as good as this game is, here they still have an issue with that too. Here they still have a little issue with two-man sequencing. Now, the realization that I've come to is it must be extremely hard for basketball and football games to pull this off. If you look at PES and you look at FIFA, they do a phenomenal job with it. And, you know, and NY Kia brought something to my attention that I didn't even think about. He said, hey, man, you got to think about it like this. With basketball, there's always, you know, players interacting. Football, definitely. There's interaction, one-on-one interaction on every play in football. Not so much in soccer. Maybe it's easier to hone in on those interactions because it's one-to-one. Possible. But it's something to think about. But my point is, I'm starting to look at these games differently because it seems like though Madden does not give you the same depth, it doesn't replicate as good yet. It doesn't, you know, there's still missing some elements that would make us have more of a feeling of dynamic gameplay. Both Madden and 2K suffer from some of the same problems. in its two-man sequencing overriding situations. Two-man sequencing unable to be interrupted. Two-man sequencing creating an interaction so it looks good. And like I said, I've already seen it in the Prelude, and I was going to do a video about it. I might wait because y'all know how it goes. If I put that out, it's going to be 100 people say, but you don't say that about Madden, which I've said it about Madden a million times. I've even got videos already out on Madden 19 saying that. So I'm not even going to stir that pot. I might just wait and do a dedicated video to show you guys what I'm talking about. And I'm not blaming 2K for that. Like I said, if I could see something being shared or an issue that a lot of games struggle with, like body clipping and stuff like that, I'm not going to hold that against the game. But it just makes me wonder, man, is some of the stuff that we are wanting to see and wanting to happen, maybe it's just not quite possible yet. I don't know. Because like I said, the gameplay in the Prelude, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think 2K is playing awesome right now. And it's easy to say that, initially before you can really dive into the game. We all know how that goes. You put a little time in, there's going to be problems that pop out. I understand that. But the gameplay seems very clean. The ball tangibility has improved. And it looks like I'm not really seeing huge amounts of body clipping. I'm seeing it a little bit, in places where you would expect it to happen. Two people go up for a rebound, you might see a body part clip through something else, little video game stuff like that. But I'm not seeing the ridiculously amount of body clipping that we've seen from 2K the last 2 years. I haven't seen that so far in the Prelude. So, just something to think about, guys. I don't know I think sometimes our expectations could exceed what can actually be done. You understand what I'm saying? However, again, I got to go back to Pez. If they seem to be able to produce the least amount of body clipping, warping, and sliding, and their player movement seems to be like A1. I mean,
yeah,
beautiful. But like my man T. Coop just said here in the chat, I'll read it. He said, I wish they would stop trying so hard to completely eliminate sliding. You just don't want it to be noticeable and unrealistically obvious. All the time could be spent polishing the game. You know what, Coop? And that's why I wanted to say this. That's exactly where I wanted to go. I'm going to stop judging these games like so ridiculously, like nothing should ever happen. Like, I think we've all have become accustomed to, we've been spoiled by the realism that we're getting from these games, and we're expecting everything to be perfectly realistic. In my time and with Smitty's time, with us communicating with developers, man, and not just Madden developers, we understand game coding a little bit now. Like, it's not easy to do that. It's darn near impossible to completely remove warping, shifting, animations triggering and stuff like that. My only thing is I just wish there was a way that they could make it as minimal as possible. Like even in Madden, I just recorded a video here while we were doing the show. When you get those DB and wide-out interactions, sometimes it gets extremely crazy. It gets extremely crazy. And somebody just said they couldn't hear me. Are you still having an issue? You can't hear me still? You should be able to hear me just fine, but I don't know. So y'all let me know if you're unable to hear me. Give me a second.
I want to chime in on that point that you read, that comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like basically, okay, I understand the overly stressing of OMG, I found a flaw. You know what I mean? It's not perfect. It's not a perfect game. We need to go ahead and put it back on the shelf. Don't bother with it no more.
Right.
Look, it's now the thing is about the strive to get it like that. That's something that could be done because, as we've said in the past, and just like what Sim just said, it's already being done. Now, does shifting and warping and clipping and all that stuff happen in PES and FIFA? Yeah, it does. But it's so subtle, you can't notice it. You wouldn't notice it unless you went to instant replay. You see what I'm saying? Because they do a phenomenal job of ball physics, ball tangibility, player tangibility.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when they do it at such a high clip, when you see something bad happen, it's like, oh man, yeah, that's messed up how that happened. But 9.5, I would say a good 9 times out of 10, the gameplay is the game is going to play out legitimately. And that's the difference. That's why when we go on Madden and be like, yo, EA, this in the same, this under the same umbrella. And look what they able to do. So it's, I get it. So I understand that. But also think about it from the esports aspect of it. And see, this is what I wanted to say this about 2K, but I had to be on mute. This is what I mean about the push. Look, okay, you'll see Madden, and like what Sim said, there are numerous plays that can happen in Madden, and you'll be like, OMG, what if I was playing for 50,000? What if I was playing for 100,000? And look at this error. Look at how this wideout DB interaction is. Look how this tackle happened, or look at this pass trajectory, or look at, you see what I'm saying? When you see those things on a grand stage and it doesn't look as good as it can, that only helps the developers. That helps them with fighting for these realistic elements or pushing the envelope further along. Right. It helps them with making that argument. Because, see, and I got to give the big time shout out to 205, man. You know, I don't know if he on, but 205 made the great point with the whole esports paradigm and Madden getting involved in it. Because at first I was not really on board with what he was saying, kind of in disagreement. But you're seeing more and more and more how it's helping to really push these games further and allow them to truly give us authenticity in these products. Look at what 2K did. Just from playing that Prelude, look how they got the defense in the game now. Yeah. Look at how the ball tangibility is in the game now. You see what I'm saying? Like, you had a dude, I don't know if he was complaining or not, but he was like, I mean, look, man, I can't dribble at all on the Hall of Fame. I can't do nothing, man. They clamping me up defensively. And I looked at the gameplay and it looked beautiful. Because you don't know why? You can't just hog the ball in my career on Hall of Fame where you get the most points and all that or whatever, most VC or whatever, and you can't just ball hog your way to doing what you want to do. They're going to lock you up. And the thing 2K said was that when people do the exploitative kind of stuff, they're monitoring it all. So they're going to be quick to fix it. See, that kind of stuff is because of what happened in the 2K league. You literally had a team lose a game because of a bug issue that was supposed to be fixed. He had a layup animation hit the backside of the underneath the backboard or whatever, and was ruled out of bounds. And then you had that one kid who scored 82 points or whatever, and off of just a blow-by animation. When you have stuff like that happen, and you make your arguments to, in terms of developing the game and making these adjustments, that's the stuff that makes the game look more authentic on those stages. That's the kind of stuff that we got to have happen in all the games. And that's why I love seeing it in FIFA and PES. But that's why I believe, and I know that it can be done in Madden. Like, I know it can. It's just, I don't know necessarily what would need to be done. Right. But at the same time, they can get it done. Now, Do I think it's going to take them going to the next console generation to do it? Yes, it is. I feel that's how I feel very confidently. They're going to have to do that in order to really deliver that game. But
why? Let me ask you this, Smitty. Why do you think? Why do you think Madden has to do that when, like we said, FIFA and PES are able to do it now?
Because there are things that can be done in FIFA that can't be done in Madden because it will break the game if they were to implement those things based off of the current system. They're limited. They'll max the system out and it will break it. They'll break it. The game will break basically with some of the things that they want to do. But if they did them right now, game would really be in shambles if they tried to pull it off. So that's why, like I said, talking to Roy Harvey and my man Big Ben, I learned a lot at EA Play this past year, and there are some things that they want to do but can't necessarily be done yet because of the limitations, the systematic limitations. And if they tried to do them, think about it, Sim, just like when we said, when we first went in Madden 15, when we were down there and we were saying, why don't you do true step on all the players? And Clint said, yeah, we could do it. He told us, yeah, we could do that, but it'll break the game. But we could do it, but it'll break the game, though, to do it. See what I'm saying? Systematic changes have to take place first in order for certain things to happen, i.e. made the move to Frostbite potentially could have been why they're able to do that. And, and with them having that RPM tech, that helps them with making that move. You know what I'm saying? Like them going to that same code base with FIFA. FIFA has had they had RPM in their game in FIFA 18. Madden got it this year, Madden 19. So that's just kind of food for thought kind of deal. It may take them going to a new, like they got to go to another level to be able to do things. And like you guys said, like we all have said before, it's a complex game where you got 22 players on the field and they're all colliding, bumping, all that stuff with each other. And you're trying to make it all authentically gel together. So the intricacy of it can be on a whole nother level in terms of getting it to work on that one-to-one scale and give us the stuff we desire. Because trust and believe, there are things that they want to do and more from stuff that we've said, from things that we haven't even said that they want to do, but there are limitations. Because, like I said, it's not that they can't necessarily do things now. They can, but if they took it too far, it will break the system. They'll break the game. And you know how we already go in on the issues that we see now. So just think of how it would really be if they just threw everything at it. So that's what I'm saying. But I just wanted to add that point on to what you were, to what you're talking about there. So the esports angle is huge, but also that perspective as far as the development side of it, that's the way that it is right now, man. It's as great as it is to see FIFA. And look, RPM is going to do more for Madden. It's going to help push the game, no doubt. But I think it's going to push it to the edge. And then when they go to that next generation console, they're really going to be able to take it to a whole nother level. So that's where I see where they're really going to be able to take things to those true higher heights like that. Because they still are working. Once again, they still do have a lot of, and I mean, we've talked about this before, they have a lot of legacy code in that game still.
Yeah, that's part of it.
That's a huge, that's a legit chunk of the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they got brand new code and, this is all fresh and clean, and then they just go ahead and press on. So that makes a difference. So, that's what I said. We just got to, it's one of those things we got to stay tuned, but as long as they make those proper strides, and like what Sim said, I just want to reply to that real quick, the franchise side of it, Madden 20 has to do a lot on the CFM side, flat out. You got to make us give a care. That's the whole thing about it. You got to have a franchise mode that makes us give a care. If it doesn't make us care, then what's the point of playing it? Just like NBA Live. I'm not going to care about that franchise like that. I'm not. I'm going to play it because it's something different, but I'm not going to care about their franchise. So it's going to be heavily on 2K because, look, I'm even going to mess with my career because it makes me care. Like, there are facets in there that are going to make me give a care. You know what I'm saying? And even with the My League, like, I can't wait to get into it. I seriously can't. Like, I got the games here. I'm excited. But NBA Live has they should have been doing work, and I'll say this and throw it back to you because I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I just want to get it out while it's fresh. NBA Live has had multiple opportunities to build their game out more and more. People don't play franchise because they haven't done nothing with it. It's not because what they have isn't. It's not because people just don't care to play. They care to play, but you don't give people any incentive to play. You give people plenty of incentive to play the streets, but we have no incentive to play franchise. Oh, we're gonna put a trade finder in there. Cool. Oh, we put the bird rules in there in regards to contracts. Cool. Oh, we got an injury report that shows up in there, but it's only for sim injuries.
Yeah, that is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
No injuries?
So if I sim the game and I lose one of my players, that's bullcrap. But if I play all 82 games, I won't lose a soul. No, man, you can't, no. You see what I'm saying? You can't do that. That's why 2K will continue winning that battle of attrition, because you're not giving us any kind of depth or anything that we should give a care about. The only thing that I give a care about is simming the game, because I'm thinking I'm going to lose players. I could possibly lose key players from simming games. And that's it. That's all I care about. And that's why I'm saying, that's why I said on Twitter, it's inexcusable as to why there hasn't been any depth given. They have to give us way more than just minuscule features. Oh, man, let us be able to edit rosters. Oh, that's cool. We could actually pick different jerseys that we want to play with when we play in the league with our character. Oh, man, we can't let, like, we're up here, we got people lobbying for being able to edit your players in franchise mode now. Like, that's what I'm saying. We're lobbying for, like, the most minuscule features in this game now. That's crazy.
Same thing with Madden.
Yep.
Basic roster management.
Yep. Same thing with Madden. Basic contract negotiating, player holdouts, and things like that. We don't have that stuff in Madden, and they gotta have that. But see, and just like Sim said, you look at EA Canada, and look what they freaking got in Canada. Look what NHL did, a 16 freaking minute video going through all that freaking depth. That's what I'm talking about, man. And the thing is, the stuff that they've done in the past, if you put that in Madden or Live, I would be satisfied with what they've done in the past, let alone what these cats are doing this year. So that's why I'm saying EA has to step it up tenfold. They got to do way better than what they've done. And I'm not saying the mother load has to happen in Madden 20 or Live 20, because that's unrealistic thinking. But I'm saying at the same time, it can't be slight marginal improvement. It has to be a legitimate step forward or step up in terms of the caliber and quality of the mode to sustain the end user and make us feel immersed in these modes. Not just with Mutt, but it also has to happen with this franchise side. It has to happen. You got good gameplay, but we need the complementary modes to go along with it. That has to happen. Flat out. 2K did it. You got other EA franchises doing it. It has to happen here with these two mainstay products, Madden and Live. So I'll go back to you, man.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, it's getting to that point, man, where, like you said, we're not going to care about playing those games. There's nothing to care about in terms of depth. So, like I said, Live, I think the one it gives you another alternative, and because 2K is out, it does give you the alternative to say, well, I'm going to run with the one, or I'm going to do my career. You got two options there. But outside of that, the Tiburon games just don't give you enough meat. Not enough meat on the bone. So, all right, guys. Some of you guys have probably come here just for this next topic. Buckle up, man. Because like I said, I got a lot to say, a lot to get off my chest, and I'm going to give you my real thoughts about this situation. Nike and Colin Kaepernick. So, guys, in case you've been under a rock, you would now know that Nike has come out and they've made Colin Kaepernick, the star around their icon campaign, as well as news has come out that they have been supporting, and Kaepernick has been on the roster all of this time. They were just waiting for the moment to unveil it, if you will, or decide exactly what the breakout will be to introduce their relationship. You got to give kudos to Nike on that. I'm going to give them a little more kudos, but I'm just giving you some quick snippets. At the same time, you also have to recognize, listen, it's a business. I'm not going to blame Nike for doing it. I think good for them, but of course, it's a great business move as well. So whatever side of the spectrum you're on, whether you are for Nike or against Nike, I can see your claim in both regards. I love it because Nike has been showing us this even before Colin Kaepernick, with the whole Serena Williams campaign, how they jumped in support of her very, very quickly, when the nonsense came out about her wearing her cat suits or what have you. It's funny when you see somebody with an active, attractive body being body shamed. Let's not act like that ain't the reason why they feel offended by her cat suit or what she wears in the U.S. Open now, which she's been wearing her whole career. Come on, man, y'all killing me with this. But anyway, Nike showed their support of her, with the commercial around her accolades, etc., etc. And again, Nike is showing themselves again with Colin Kaepernick. Great kudos and applause to them. But let's dissect this whole Colin Kaepernick situation. It's very funny to me, man, when I see people's reaction to this situation still. And the reason why I say still is because let's take a trip down memory lane. Colin Kaepernick decided that he was no longer going to stand for the national anthem in protest of the injustices that occur mostly and largely towards the African American, brown, and other minority groups, right? That was his reasoning. What seems to get lost in this whole thing, everyone forgets that Colin Kaepernick met with Nick Boyer and others. There were other military personnel that he met with, and he asked them, listen, well, what would be a more respectful way for me to protest, where I'm not shaming the veterans and those who fought for this country, where I'm not, going against literally the flag, but you know, where I'm not being or coming across as non-patriotic. What's the best way? They told him to kneel. Do we not remember that? Or do you conveniently forget that? They were the ones that suggested that he kneels. Now, why is the kneel important? Nobody talks about when he was sitting down, quietly to himself. All of a sudden, 3 or 4 weeks later, somebody caught wind of it. And then, you know, right after that wind was caught, they had the meeting with the other vets. And then he started to kneel. And the kneel became the big subject. Mind you, he was told by veterans to do it. Okay? So what cracks me up is how nobody seems to remember. And let's get Smitty back in here. There he is. Smitty's back home now. But yeah, nobody seems to remember the origin. I keep seeing so many people, Smitty, still say he's disrespecting the flag. How are you guys getting that? Where are y'all getting this from? I mean, if he said it out of his own mouth, why he's doing it? Where are you guys coming up with this narrative? And then, of course, you know, the current president spins it, and he makes it into a NFL problem and an anthem problem, and it's such a mess. The NFL, it should be ashamed, man, how they handled this whole thing. Such a mess. But yet, still nobody wants to talk about why the protests even happened. We're not hearing any of that. All of the defenses that I hear against Colin Kaepernick is every single person that is against him, they say the same thing. He's disrespecting the flag. So here's the question, Smitty, that I got to those folks. Are you blindly just running with that narrative because that's the one that you want to believe, or are you investigating the facts? Because any smart person should be able to say, wow, why is he doing that? Oh, I got to see what the deal is with this. Let me see why this dude is, he ain't standing for the anthem. Well, I got to investigate this. You listen to what he says, then it should be very clear. Oh, okay. I get it. Now, politics and football might not be for you. I get it. I'm not saying that we supposed to be political about it and we supposed to love it. Some people just want to see the football game. Let me tell you how I feel about the football game. Even when I played football, I could care less about the national anthem. You know why? Because I wasn't thinking about being patriotic when it was showtime. You know what I was thinking of doing the national anthem? I was visualizing the game. Visualizing the game plan. Looking at the other sideline. Looking at the quarterback who I'm going to try to knock his block off. Looking at their linebackers who are going to try to hit me when I get into the second level. Looking in their eyes, letting them know, yeah, the first play, I'm not even going to try to go around you. I'm going right through you. I'm putting the head down. I'm running you over so you know for this whole game, yo, this dude he's about his business. I ain't trying to tackle that kid. That's what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about putting my hand over my chest or how patriotic I was or thinking about my father who's a veteran. I wasn't thinking about any of that. I could care less about a national anthem in a sporting event. Why are we so fixated with that? I really don't understand that, which, again, was not a part of sports at one time. The NFL just recently, within the last 10 years or so, introduced that. You remember when there was no national anthem? So, I'm really starting to see, Smitty, even with some of the people that we conversate with on Twitter, I'm starting to see who y'all really are. And I'm backing away from a lot of these people because I don't need nobody like that in my circle. I don't need anybody like that, to conversate with me. And I'm not talking about disagreements. I'm talking about those people who can't literally see what this issue is about. If you can't see that, which I know you see it, the way I'm viewing it is you're choosing to make it one of those type of issues. Oh, it's a political thing. Oh, it's about the flag and he's disrespecting the veterans. Oh, and some of them, Smitty, are making it into a racial thing. Yeah, some of the people that we talk to, I've seen it. They don't. Yeah. I don't think they know we see it, but oh yeah, I see you.
Yeah.
So those folks, I ain't got nothing for you. Backing away from a lot of those folks. You won't see me talking to them because listen. I don't need you around me if I know where your heart really is at when it comes to real life. When it comes to you and me, I know where we stand now. It's just crazy, man. I want to salute Nike for doing it. I hear they're going to show the commercial, and they might have already done it here during the game. Love Nike doing that. That's almost like a checkmate. Like, oh, yeah. And by the way, we bought a spot to show in tonight's game, NFL. I love that. And I think it's going to help Colin, man, win his case in terms of the collusion lawsuit. I think, now having some huge public backing is really going to help. Let me say one other thing about the people who are destroying their Nike property. I know we shouldn't make a joke out of this, but I haven't seen one person destroy Nikes that people would say they would want to have. Let's just say that. I'm seeing a lot of low-scale shoes being burnt. Beat up, dirty shoes, socks. Like, come on now. You're talking about you think this $1 billion company didn't calculate their risk assessment before they went into this? Stop making a fool out of yourselves, man. And by the way, you know who really is disrespecting the flag, Smitty? The NFL. Every time they stretch it out across that field. Go do your homework, folks. Go look at the code of ethics in terms of how the flag should and shouldn't be displayed. It is always the flag itself is always being disrespected in the NFL with apparel, on bathing suits. All of that stuff should never happen. That's disrespecting the flag. Yeah. Not protesting the injustices of black and brown people and minorities in this country. And one other thing, Smitty.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a guy today try to argue with me, and it was a brief conversation, but he said he basically caught that little mini interview I did for the CBC in Canada, where me and that guy was kind of, I took it light on that guy, but he caught that interview and he found me on Twitter and he sent me a message saying that the national anthem is what I have an offense, to that he supposedly is protesting. And once I told him he wasn't doing that, I asked him this question. Have you ever heard or have you ever read the original version of the Star Spangled Banner? Like those lines that were taken out of it? Go read those and tell me why somebody of Colin Kaepernick's, origin, even though he's a mixed kid, but anyone of the African American or minority community, why would we have a problem with the Star Spangled Banner? I don't think a lot of people know about those lines that were taken out of it that was originally wrote. It was very offensive. But anyway, man, let me get off of the soapbox here. Sorry to go so deep on you guys tonight, and trust me, and I know where Smitty is going, but we took it very light. We could go very deeper than this, but I know this ain't the place for it. You guys don't want to hear that, but I'm gonna always share some real life with y'all from time to time. So, what are your thoughts on this, Smitty, man? You in favor of it? and I'm pretty sure you are. But what are your thoughts in general with the whole Colin Kaepernick and this Nike situation?
Well, I mean, I think that the people that are upset about all this, I think they're a little bit too late because, you know, Nike was founded back in 1964. So, well, before they switched it to Nike, after 1971. So, nevertheless, if y'all wanted to really make an impact, that would have been the time to make an impact. At this point, I heard listening on the radio earlier that Colin, just people talking about this alone, whether positive or negative, they already made like close to 180 million already. And this was before them using airtime to air this out. Alone, they're already making bread off of it. They made calculated moves on purpose, man. This was they not fresh to the world with this. They know exactly what the heck they was doing. They knew what they was doing. They know people gonna get mad.
Mm-hmm. It's called business.
Yeah, that's what business exactly. This is business. They know they gonna get that. They know already. They like, look, Nike, we already know we are going to get at least this much. So people could get mad about it. Colin in this whole situation is hot. This is a hot button situation. So because this whole thing going on right now, this is the perfect. I mean, the marketing job those cats did is phenomenal.
Outstanding.
Phenomenal. That Serena Williams situation stuff, and then showing the commercial. That was perfect timing. Perfect timing. Oh, y'all going down her? Oh, okay. Go ahead and the perfect mesh of as a kid and her at the grand stages of her career. Like it's crazy to see all of that. And I'm, you know what? I'm just, like I said, Nike did their thing the right way. They did a great job of holding it down for Colin, giving him the money that he, you know, that he, well, not to the fullest extent that he's gonna get. If he had still been in the NFL, he probably would have got some more money. But it's a huge move to see these guys are covering him like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that, and like it was said on the radio, it's not that they're backing him. It's that it's a marketable situation. And it's like, yo, let's capitalize on this. Let's give him some money and let's make some money. We'll give you X amount of dollars and we'll double and triple the return off of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what they're doing right now. But they're doing it off of a good cause. He didn't do anything to tarnish his name or anything like that. And the other thing too is it's genuine. That's the thing about Serena Williams and Colin Kaepernick. These are two genuine athletes. Genuine causes, their father reared their kid, reared them up from they were in Compton, California, reared those girls up, and you ain't heard about them getting in no trouble. You ain't hear them being out there doing all kinds of wild stuff or anything like that at all whatsoever. They've been classy. They've been classy, and they have been elite athletes in their respective sport. Colin Kaepernick, same deal. I haven't seen him do anything wild and crazy like that, but this whole situation with him kneeling and doing all that, he's held it. He's done everything with class. He didn't do, just like listening on Undisputed. Shannon said it. Colin didn't go up there and say, let me go ahead and take a knee, and in 3 years, Nike gonna offer me a contract and give me some money. It had nothing to do with that. This was a genuine move he made and said, look, I'm gonna take the money that I made and I'm gonna make something of it. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm going to be about this movement. I'm going to put my money and my work ethic where my mouth is, and I'm going to walk on this. And that's what he literally did. He felt wrong by the NFL. He's taking them to trial. All this stuff is only helping him. All of it is only helping his cause. So it's like, yes, people are upset, but that's like what Sim said. People buying, you taking all this Nike apparel that you bought. That's the key word. You bought it. I don't care if you bought it clearance, whatever, but you bought it. And now you're up here, oh, I'm not supporting them. Oh, okay. All right. Well, see ya. You think they're really going to lose like that? No. They're going to win way more than they're going to lose. And that's the thing. All these people that are burning up stuff, you bought all of it first. That's just like when people got mad at Death Row. Didn't like Snoop Dogg and his records and all that stuff. They smashing tapes and CDs. I'm like, yeah, y'all bought all those records though, right? Y'all do whatever y'all want with it. Y'all already bought it. You know what I'm saying? It was cracking up at the people. It was like, yeah, you bought it already. So it's like, it's no different. Y'all bought and stuff off of a past purchase of Nike. You already gave Nike the bread. Now you want to burn it. Yeah, you go ahead and have a barbecue with it. It doesn't matter. They already got your money. So it's just so silly. And that's the whole thing. Colin was like, I want to take a stand, but I want to do a peaceful protest. How could I go about it? He meets with a soldier that had served, and he said kneel. He was told by the military servant what he should do. And they told him to kneel. Kneel. It's innocent. It's harmless. Kneel. Well, there's nothing wrong in that. And, oh, you're disrespecting the military, and you're disrespecting this, that. How? He was told by the military to do it. And that's why I love it when I look online, and especially on Twitter, and I see people talk about how he's being so disrespectful. And then you see the soldiers, men, women, accordingly, all just step right in. I have no problem with what he's saying, so I would like to know where the problem is. I have no issue with what Colin is doing at all whatsoever. And it has nothing to do with this extra stuff that it's being made out to be. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has nothing to do with the military. It has only to deal with the police brutality. That's what they're talking about. That's what his emphasis is. It's on that. And he was getting, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why, like, you know, I got to give mad props to the NBA and Adam Silver and all that stuff. If Colin was an NBA player and he was a decent one and he felt this way, there wouldn't be, he would meet a little bit of resistance, but he wouldn't be out of the NBA because of it. He would be able to feel how he feel. You know, if he wants to kneel, he can kneel. People will feel a certain way about it, but at the same time, they'll move past it and be like, you know what? That's the way he feels. I gotta respect that. NFL, you better fall in line or else. Like, no, man, no. Nope. And that's why you see these players hold out and stuff the way that they do. They don't get that contract. These contracts they get are not guaranteed. That's why, like Le'Veon Bell and all that stuff. I know people are upset about him, but he's holding out on purpose. Running backs don't last that long in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? You don't have great running backs last decades. They usually last. They may have a good 5-6 year shelf life, and then after that, they'll mess around and get hurt, or they have that injury that sets them back. That's why they want to get that guaranteed money. And I can't get mad at Le'Veon. I just hope he doesn't sit out too long.
Yeah, don't mess yourself up now.
Yeah, don't do that. But he does deserve to be compensated because he has a life to live. And I mean, I understand, you know, he's a multi-millionaire. He's got plenty of money, but at the same time, for the potential damage that he's putting on his life, basically, to play in the NFL, he should be compensated because he's proven himself to be an elite player. he should get paid as such. That's why those guys feel the way they feel about it. Owners and such want to just fall in line and play ball, shut up and play football. But the problem is the NFL is at a point right now where it's like, oh, I'll shut up and play football if you give me this, when it shouldn't be like that. Period.
Yep.
So
agree.
That's where they're at. It sucks because some of these guys, they have no choice. It's like I gotta pay bills. I gotta make this money, so I got no choice. I have to go by what they say. I have to do this. But in their heart of hearts, they don't want to do it. You see? So, but, you know, I'll end my point there, throw it back to you, Sim.
Yeah, man. Great point. You know, it's just crazy. You know, like I said, it's really crazy to see some of these people, man, and how they're reacting to this situation. And like I said, man, you know how people always say, I like to keep positive energy around me. I feel the same way about intellectuals. Like, if you ain't smart enough to see what's happening here and understand why this thing, you know, these things are happening, and it has really nothing to do with, you know, the respect for the flag and whatnot, nah, I'm good. I don't need you around me. I'll be fine. So it's just crazy. It's real crazy, man, to see how some of these people are reacting to this. You know, people that I never would have imagined. I'm like, wow, really? You don't get it? But yeah, man, shout outs to Colin Kaepernick, man. I'm with you. I have no shame in saying that. I'm with you. I support the cause. And, you know, I hope he wins the collusion case. I really do. Because I really feel like, looking at some of these backups around the league, you're not going to tell me that the man Colin Kaepernick couldn't be a backup in today's NFL. So
they begged Jay Cutler to to come out there and play. Like, dude was retired.
Yep. And again, you know, last thing I will say real quick, is I see a couple people commenting on the Le'Veon Bell thing, is same thing with that, man. You know, just, you know, educate yourself on what's going on. You know, it's not, I don't know why so many of these analysts keep saying the Steelers didn't attempt to pay Le'Veon Bell. That's absolutely not true. They offered him $70 million. But to Le'Veon's defense, he wanted more guarantee. I don't blame him. And I know people are going to say, well, they should have gave more guarantee. Listen, let me tell you something. It's just like Smitty said how long Nike's been in business. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been in business a very long time. They've been very successful. They're not going to break their philosophy. We don't have to agree. They're not going to break their philosophy on how they choose to do their contracts and how they choose to do business. Not for one player. They've been very successful doing it the way they do. They have a stellar record and a stellar history of paying the full contract to guys once they get their deal. Like, they have a very high rate in that. Once guys, you know, get the deal, they have a good history in paying it out fully. There's a few occasions where guys might not have made it the final year, but they get the bulk of their money. So what I'm saying is, I agree with both the Steelers and Le'Veon Bell. I don't see that where there was a right or a wrong in the situation. The Steelers offered the man a contract. Le'Veon Bell felt like the guarantee wasn't there. And there you have it. And there you have it. And, you know, like my man Jeffrey Abbey is saying here in the you know, you guys can feel that it was trash all you want. You know, that's, yeah. You know, you can have your opinion. We all have our opinions about it. I'm just stating facts. I'm not even giving an opinion. The facts remain that the Steelers do business the way they do it. They did the same thing with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown decided that, yeah, I'll make that money. And he re-signed. You know, this is his second contract. It's just, that's how it goes, man. You know, some teams will put their life on the line and they'll pay you this crazy amount of money. Other teams don't do it that way. It's just philosophy. But like I said, One last thing I will say about Le'Veon Bell. Love Le'Veon Bell to death, but I'm a diehard Steeler fan. And what I mean is there's no one person more important on the team than everybody else. What I mean by that, have we won a Super Bowl? Have we won a Super Bowl with Le'Veon Bell? So my point is, I agree with him and everybody else saying, dang, man, I wish we could have got the deal done. I agree with that. But all I'm saying is, it's not like Le'Veon Bell will be the sole reason the Steelers win or lose a Super Bowl. Because if that was the case, we should have won a Super Bowl a long time ago when we had Martavis Bryant getting off, AP, and Le'Veon Bell and Roethlisberger. I mean, on paper, we should have been won a title. It didn't happen. So that's all I'm saying. I wanted Le'Veon Bell to be there. I wish they would have offered him a little more money. But as a Steeler fan, I understand how they do their business. It just is what it is. And, you know, when you get guys like Alvin Kamara and, you know, Kareem Hunt, these type of guys that you can get for the cheap, there you have it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. That's just my few thoughts there. Wish they could have got it done, but and all I would want Le'Veon to do now, man, is just handle it with a little more dignity. Now, you know, all of that is over. Don't play the back and forth game. Just go ahead, come on in there, man, and ball out, and you get your money next year. Because what I'm afraid of, Smitty, with him is if he waits too long and mess around and don't get have the season he expects to have because he didn't play as many games, or mess around and sit out, say, 6 games and then get hurt, stock could go down. So
that's a wrap.
Yeah, man, you need to come on out there and play. Stop playing around. Come out there, show the Steelers what they're going to lose, and get that bread next year. Because what he's going to have to do, folks, he has to outperform Todd Gurley this year in order to get that money. Some of y'all might laugh at that, but listen to what I'm saying. The NFL is a copycat league. Le'Veon Bell holding out, I believe, helped Todd Gurley get his deal. Because the Rams was like, nah, we're not going to go through that when Todd... No. We're going to go ahead and lock him up. Right? In order for Le'Veon Bell to get Todd Gurley's money, because now Todd Gurley is the highest paid, he's going to have to outperform him. You keep missing games, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Get in the building, play ball so you can get your bread next year. So there you have it. Well, all right, guys. That's it. I think that was a great one, man. We had a lot of information to cover in this show, and we got it all. Let me just check the topics. Yeah, we pretty much covered everything. So outside of that, man, Smitty, is there anything else, any other comments you may have before we jump out of here?
Shoot, just, y'all know, like always, appreciate y'all coming through. You know, hey, there's a lot of good gaming, you know, on the horizon. You know, yeah, enjoy it, man. You know, like I said, and like we talked about earlier, you know, True and Spot Me, you know, those are guys that had a big time zest for the game, enjoyed these games, you know, and were very competitive, but still had that thrill and that enjoyment. Don't lose that. By all means, don't lose that. Keep that going and enjoy and have fun. You know what I'm saying? Be competitive, give feedback, like just like how we all are. There's nothing wrong with being passionate, but also be passionate, be passionately respectful to each other as well. Okay? So that's pretty much it.
Absolutely, man. I think you guys are gonna definitely see a shift, hopefully, in the community. Definitely for Smitty and I, man. It's just all of that back and forth nonsense is just, it ain't worth it. You know, it's not worth it, man. We shouldn't allow anybody to take the enjoyment out of playing video games away from us. Whether you like a game or hate a game. Like, I just don't understand why, even already, Smitty, is so much, 2K sucks and live sucks, and, you know, the live fanboys are, oh, boy, they out, boy.
Right.
Y'all
Man.
Y'all need to cut that out, man. Like, to me, there's no joy in being a fanboy of any game. Unless it's Battlefield. Yeah. But no, I'm just playing. We should enjoy these games, man. You know, it's the more the merrier. Like, why would you want one company to be buried? And I don't get it. Let's just enjoy these games, man. We got some great games coming out. Don't forget NHL and FIFA that'll be on the way. So, yeah. And that Spider-Man, like Smitty said, for you guys that are going to do that. I haven't decided yet on that because I'm terrible with RPG type of games, man. I don't finish them. I'm terrible with it. Bro. I know it's going to be dope, man. I'm just... you know me. Smitty, I haven't even finished... I ain't finished Uncharted yet.
So just keep playing.
Yeah,
it's there.
I'm terrible with those games. For some reason, I'm terrible with going back to them games because I be on the sport so much. So I'm scared to buy Spider-Man out of the point of me feeling like I might not play it. But I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to definitely, red box it if I can and see if it draws me enough. And then, I think it's going to be a great game, but I just don't trust me with it. But, all right, guys, man, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. If you are Eagles and Falcons fans, stay glued to the TV. It looks like we got a good one brewing. And for everybody else, unless you are a Cleveland Brown fan, good luck with your teams. Remember where you heard it first. Steelers could definitely go in there and lose this game, especially now with all of this distraction. I called it a few weeks ago. Don't be surprised, guys, if we go in there and lose at Cleveland week 1. Doesn't mean the season is lost. It could just mean they caught us at the right time. All right, but outside of that, hope everybody has a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll catch you guys next week right back here for the next episode of the Sim Standard Podcast. All right, y'all be good. Peace.
Peace.